You are always selecting a version of people that aligns with your state of being. There's no out there. The world is a mirror reflecting everything back to you. As within, so without. Everyone is you pushed out. And so this is what Neville Goddard meant when he said that. You are, and we all are, multi-dimensional beings. We are so much more than we can ever fathom, okay? You are the operant power. You are the universe itself incarnated in physical form. The universe is inside of yourself. Hence, there's no out there. Now, what we perceive being out there it's a projection of consciousness. So it's the universe, you in body, projecting out this holographic experience. And so a beautiful viewer asked me in the comments recently to explain a little further what everyone is you pushed out really means. And immediately I'm like, yes, let's do it, because I could talk about it all day. And so this is what it means. You are selecting a version of people that aligns with and matches your vibration, your state of being. And so Neville Goddard also spoke on the law of assumption, right? Everything you assume to be true is what you get. And so when you assume someone is rude to you, when you assume people don't listen to you, or that people are dismissive, this is what you experience. Why? Because you're selecting that version of themselves that is dismissive, that doesn't listen to you, that is rude. And so you keep proving yourself right. Hence, everyone is you pushed out because you assume them to be rude. And so this is your state of being. This is your vibrational state. This is who you are being at that moment. And so you will attract, because like attracts like, that version of that multidimensional being that aligns with that assumption. And so you will perceive them to be rude. Also, everything that you perceive is filtered through your assumptions, your beliefs, your emotional patterns. And so if you perceive someone to be rude, you are perceiving it. That's your perception. So it's a reflection of your state of being. And this is actually a blessing because it gives us all of our power back. Everything contains a lesson. Everything is a reflection back to us. So the perceived challenges and problems and rudeness or whatever that we get from other people, they are guiding us back home. Because if everything is a reflection of our inner world, then how amazing for us to actually be able to see it in the out there so clearly. Right? You don't even have to go within to see what's going on inside of yourself. How amazing. What if we shifted from looking at the problems and the challenges as horrible things that are out there, to get us, to, wow, they're being rude to me. What part of myself is being rude to me? What part of myself is being rude to other people? What part of myself is being rude to that person even? And so it's a mirror. So you get to see everything that's going on. Now, the thing is, the conscious mind will try and get in the way, okay? Because we're dealing with cosmic, infinite principles. And guess what? The conscious mind is not infinite. So, and that's by design. The conscious mind is finite. It's designed to operate in the third dimension. And so the conscious mind is not going to agree with this ultimately, because it was not designed to. It's not the conscious mind's job to fully grasp what we're talking here. It's not. And so if we're not aware of it, we will allow the conscious mind to jump in and be like, this is a reflection, this is not a reflection. This has nothing to do with me. And I've seen this in the comments. People going like, not everything is a reflection. And I get it, because the conscious mind jumps in and takes charge, and the conscious mind will never agree with this. But you are not a conscious mind, okay? What you are transcends so vastly what the conscious mind is that it's even impossible to put it to words, okay? You are so powerful. And so it's a matter of remembering that the conscious mind is here to help us navigate the 3D, but we are so much more than that. And when we begin to take responsibility, by the way, this has everything to do with Ho'oponopono. It's the same thing in the end. It's about taking full responsibility for whatever that shows up for you in your reality. Which is to say, they are reflections of my inner world. That's why it's about taking full responsibility, because it's you. Now, this has nothing to do with blaming yourself or feeling shame at all. It's about knowing that you have assumptions, or your vibration is at a level that is selecting that version of that person to show up in your reality, in your experience, if that makes sense. Because a person can be rude, kind, dismissive, loving, hateful, aggressive, nurturing, because that person is multidimensional. So all aspects exist. And so when you're assuming someone to be rude, you are shifting into a timeline, and there are infinite timelines, and we're shifting timelines all the time. So if you are assuming people to be rude, you are shifting into a timeline where the version of people who are rude exist, and they're showing up for you. You are literally proving yourself right all the time. I was able to change my relationship with my dad in a way that's so meaningful and so amazing, and it feels so good. Because growing up, and we planned it all, okay? Let's just remember pre-birth planning, because we are infinite divine intelligence itself, so nothing is out of place. We come here with a plan, even when we don't remember, even if we don't remember, because the veil of forgetfulness, right? So my dad was able to reinforce in my experience my sense of low self-esteem and unworthiness. Why? Because me as the soul chose this experience so that I could come here this time around and transmute it, and I am so grateful that I'm doing it. And so growing up, my dad reflected back to me all these ideas that I'm not capable enough and that I'm not worthy, and my relationship with my dad wasn't the best. And all my assumptions were, he doesn't listen to me, he doesn't believe in me, he doesn't think I'm good enough. All of those. And that's what I kept experiencing. I was proving myself right all along. Now, how did I shift that? Did I go and have long conversations with him to try and change the way he sees things? Not at all. That's touching the 3D. We don't want to touch the 3D. Why? Because the 3D is the projection. And so the projection is the result, is the effect. So what we do is go back inside, which is the realm of cause, the assumptions we have, the stories we're telling ourselves. So after my awakening, I began waking up and remembering all of these beautiful truths. We as souls never forgot a thing, okay? So we're not really learning anything, we're remembering. And so I began remembering these beautiful things. And so I began shifting my inner dialogue and what I thought when it came to my dad. And so in the quantum, meaning with my eyes closed, in meditation, inside of myself, I'd be like, Dad, I love you. I love you. Thank you for being so kind, because he is a very kind man. He's very generous. He has supported me so much, And I also chose this before coming here. So it's really a beautiful thing. So I began shifting it, cleaning on those programs, on those assumptions that I had about my dad that were so ingrained. And as time went by, while interacting with my dad, I began to see how everything was different. Literally what happened was I began attracting the version of my dad that was in alignment with the feelings and the assumptions and the emotional patterns that I began nurturing inside of myself. I am all the power. Guess what? So are you. You are so powerful. There's no out there. That's great news, because you get to go within, which feels divine and delicious, and just clean on everything and just change the stories with love, because you are unconditional love itself. That's your nature. And so as you do that, you don't really lift a finger. You just watch reality reconfigure before your eyes. It's very powerful. It's like, wow, that was so much easier than I could ever have imagined. I used to think I wasn't attractive. I didn't like the color of my skin. I didn't like the way I looked. I didn't like my voice. I didn't like my name even. And so that's what I experienced. I was attracting versions of people that were in alignment with all of those assumptions, with all of those beliefs. So I was proving myself right. After having the awakening and after embarking on a self-love journey, today I love me. I would go out on a date with me. I would go out on a date with my name, okay? I feel handsome. I feel delicious. I love my body. That's literally how I feel every day. I've never been happier. The self-love journey is so it's so amazing. And I posted a video on this recently and it kind of blew up, went viral, and that video brought so many of you to the channel, and I'm so grateful for that. And in the comment section, all the reflections back to me of what's inside of me, people telling me that I'm handsome, that they like my voice. And I'm like, thank you for the reflection. That's exactly how I feel. And that's kind of new to me, because that's a new pattern in me. I remember reading one of Neville Goddard's lectures early on in my journey. Unfortunately, I don't remember which one it is anymore, but he was talking about this woman who went to see him, and this woman had a horrible time with her boss. Her boss was actually I think he was a designer or something. And so she was like, oh, he hates me. Nothing that I ever do is ever good enough. And he was like, girl, here's what you're gonna do, okay? You are going to shift that dialogue, and you're going to imagine when you're driving to work, when you're going back home, as much as you can, you're going to imagine that this guy is so amazing and that he loves what you do and that you guys have an amazing relationship. This is the story you're going to be playing out in your mind over and over. Guess what happened? That's what she did, and that's what she experienced, because everyone is you pushed out. You are a multidimensional being. We all are. It's an energy game. And so we're expecting the world to change so that we can be happy. That's never going to happen. And that's great news, because it's so much easier. You don't have to convince anyone. You don't have to push it, to force anything. Don't force anything ever, because that's like swimming upstream. You're going to be exhausted. and you're never gonna get where you wanna go, basically. Remember, you are all the power, and use the reflections as a guide to what's going on inside of yourself. It's a gift, it's a blessing. I love you so very much. Thank you for being here. If this message resonates with you, I am sure you're going to love this video right here, so you can go ahead and check it out.